in an affair of the heart.
Stackton Trestle recently gained a new asset with the reopening of the Music Emporium, which had been bequeathed to Evadne and myself, under the terms of old Miss Blenkinsop's will. And so we threw a little party on the premises to celebrate. Just 25 or 30 carefully chosen people. Though, as Evadne said, they quickly seemed a good deal more and considerably less carefully chosen. The Stackton Bureau sent a cub reporter along because their music correspondent was covering the finals of the local sheepdog trials. And we all drank a good deal of sherry, and this rather went to our heads as there wasn't very much to eat. Well, as you can imagine, next morning I felt just a teeny bit fragile, and I didn't feel at all like facing the special breakfast that Evadne had prepared. Evadne, what exactly is this that you've given me on toast, dear?
Puffballs.
Well, I'm sorry, dear. I didn't mean to upset you. I was just curious, that's all.
They are puffball mushrooms, Hilda. I found them in the lane this morning. They were on the verge.
Well, I don't know what they were on the verge of, dear, but by the time they got onto my toast, they've definitely gone over it.
The puffballs have a long and very ancient history, Hilda.
Yes. These look rather as if they might have had.
Do you know, at one time, country people used to do all manner of things with them.
You intrigue me, dear.
No, I mean, you see, they put them on wounds to heal them. They kindled their fires with them. They set light to them and intoxicated their bees with the smoke prior to opening their hives.
I see. Anything sooner than eat them.
Well, of course they used to eat them. That is a great delicacy you have there, you know.
But it doesn't look like mushrooms, Evadne. It doesn't even smell like mushrooms, and I adore mushrooms.
Oh, well, that's my special way of preparing them, Hilda. It's basically Mrs. Beeton, beefed up a bit by my own distinctive flair for fungi.
No wonder it looks like it does.
Just try them, Hilda. They won't kill you.
Can I have that in writing, please?
Oh, get on with it.
You know, these really are rather delicious.
That's the trouble with you, Hilda. You always scream before you're hurt.
Gorgeous. I say, these aren't the mushrooms that make you hallucinate, are they?
No.
Incidentally, Evadne, did you notice last night during the party how Miss Blenkinsop kept tinkling all the time?
If you mean the wind chime, Hilda.
It's more than just a wind chime there. I've told you that before. That thing exudes Miss Blenkinsop's presence, and last night she was definitely restless.
Well, I'm not surprised with 30 people full of sherry whooping around her wind chime. And most of them with feathers in their hats.
Oh, no, it wasn't that. I think she was trying to tell us something.
And I bet you know what it was she was trying to tell us, don't you, dear?
Well, Miss Blenkinsop and I did have a certain rapport.
Yes, despite the fact that you never really liked her and very seldom saw her.
Now, that's not fair.
Let's get it over with, Hilda. What does Miss Blenkinsop want now?
She wants her harp back.
Mrs. Dale's harp?
Yes. She wants me to take it back to the Emporium.
Oh, Hilda, what a shame. And you were so attached to that harp.
Well, I think she's thinking of you now.
What exactly has this got to do with me?
Oh, Evadne, you've done nothing but complain about that harp ever since I brought it here from the Emporium, that first day we looked over the place. And Miss Blenkinsop obviously doesn't want a cherished possession to be where it's not wanted. I mean, it was you who said it was in the way when we had it in the hall, wasn't it?
Well, it was.
And it was you who said it was still in the way when we moved it into the drawing room.
That's right. But then you took it into your bedroom, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, it's not in the way in there, is it?
No, I suppose it's not.
Unless, of course, it's in your way, dear.
Well, no.
Then why have you taken to wearing dark stockings just to hide the bruises on your legs? And another thing. That harp stands there as a constant reproach to you, doesn't it?
I don't know what you mean.
There you sit, with not a fingernail left unbroken. And no nearer to being able to play the harp than you were at the very beginning.
Oh, you're a very hard, wicked woman, Evathne.
And now you want to get rid of it, don't you? Admit it. Well, if you want to take it back, take it back. But don't lay the blame on me or on the late Miss Blenkinsop. Now, what are you going to do?
Take it back.
Well, that's a blessing. I must say I'm very glad it's all over.
Yes, sir, my dear. You know, that harp was coming between us, wasn't it?
It wasn't so much the harp that was coming between us, Hilda. It was your refusal to be honest about it.
Well, I've seen the light, dear. Mrs. Dale would be proud of me. Now, let's see if we can find a nice, happy song to celebrate our fresh starts in life. The opening of the Emporium and my newfound honesty over that harp.
Well, how about It's a Sin to Tell a Lie? I'm sure that's here somewhere.
No, I'm looking for something happier now. What's that one you've got in your hand now?
That's called Ring the Bell Softly, There's Crepe on the Door. Mind you, it's got a nice black border around it.
Oh, no, that's not the sort of thing at all.
Very well, I'm only trying to help.
Oh, here we are. Now, what about this one? It's called Good Morning, Brother Sunshine. Now, that's got a lovely feeling about it.
Well, give it here, then.
All right. Good morning, Brother Sunshine. Good morning, Sister Song. I beg your humble pardon if you've waited very long. I thought I heard you knocking. To shut you out was sin. My heart is standing open, won't you walk right in? Good morning, won't you walk right in? Good morning, Brother Gladness, good morning, Sister Smile. They told me you were coming, so I waited all a while. 'Twas lonely here without you, a weary time it's been. My heart is standing open, won't you walk right in? Good morning, won't you walk right in? Well, wasn't that a spirited rendition? You know, dear, I have a feeling it's going to be a really lovely, carefree day.
Well, I wouldn't bank on it, dear. That sounds like Maud.
Oh, good morning, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Hello, Maud, dear.
Good morning, Maud.
Do you mind if I use your telephone, Dame Hilda? Only ours at home is out of order.
How long's it been like that, dear?
Well, ever since first thing this morning, when I stood on it. And I was being ever so careful.
I'm sure you were, Maud. We all know just how careful you can be.
I put the phone on the floor to clean the window in the hall. Well, I like to keep the place nice. And I went up me steps all right. And coming down, I even jumped specially to avoid it. But I swear that phone must have moved between me leaving that ladder and it in the floor.
Well, accidents do happen, dear. Use ours by all means.
Oh, thank you, Dame Hilda. And I'll report the call box while I'm on.
The call box, now.
Well, I tried to report ours from the call box on the corner.
Oh, I see. And wasn't it working?
It was when I got there. But it wasn't when I left. Wouldn't you think they'd fix them wires more firmly to the wall?
I see. You mean the receiver actually came off in your hand, Maud?
Yes, Doctor. And the rest came off on me foot.
The rest?
The old box fell right off the wall.
The box, dear.
That box you put your money in. I never hit it that hard. I swear I didn't. Why, my fist was hardly clenched.
I can't think why you hit it at all, Maud. You've no need to put money in it if you're just reporting a fault.
I know that, Doctor. I hadn't put money in. I always hits him, just in case.
In case what, Maud, dear?
Well, in case there's loose money lurking.
And tell me, Maud, did any money come out this morning?
It did when the box hit the floor. It was when I was bending to pick it up, as me backside went through the glass. Badly built, them new ones in. Too much glass. Then, as I was straightening up again, I hits me head on the directory stone. That fell off and all. Metal fatigue, I shouldn't know. They don't make screws like they do. I've noticed that at home. Anyways, that's when I gives up. There was nothing else I could do.
Well, I don't know. There were still 3 sides intact, weren't there?
2, Doctor. There was 2. The door came off trying to get in.
And I always thought it was vandals.
Well, makes you wonder just how safe that post office tower is.
Well, do help yourself to the phone here, Maud, won't you?
And do be careful now.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean, Doctor?
Well, we don't want any more accidents, do we, Maud? Especially to you.
I see. Gave a dog a bad name.
Oh, Maud, Tom is going to give us a lift down to the Emporium this morning, isn't he, dear?
Well, he said he was. Though I doubt you want to go with him when you find out what he's got.
What's he got, dear? Is it something catching?
It catches you in the end, all right. But not till it's too late. Now, I'm going to phone.
What did she mean by that, dear?
I don't know now. Very enigmatic. By the look on her face, it sounds like the Black Death.
Well, as long as it's not that Hong Kong flu.
Ah, there's Tom now. Oh, I see what you meant.
What, dear?
He's come in a hearse.
Well, she didn't say it was that bad.
No, dear, he's driving it.
Is he, alone?
Yes, dear.
Oh, well, that's all right, then. He's probably going on somewhere, be doing a bit of moonlighting.
Really, Hilda, you make the poor lad sound like a grave robber.
Probably come to tell us we shall have to make our own way home.
Morning, ladies.
Good morning, Tom, dear.
Hello, Tom.
All ready for the off, are we?
Have you come for us, dear?
Well, you said you wanted to lift down to the Emporium this morning.
Well, we did, yes, but what exactly are we going in?
But my new motor. Why?
The big black one with the silver handles inside.
Oh, you've seen it, have you? Bit of all right, eh? Only got 10,000 miles on the clock. And you can bet your boots it hasn't been thrashed.
Well, it could hardly be more suitable in the circumstances, Tom. Hilda wants to take her harp with her.
Well, there we are then. What a bit of luck, eh?
You're not going to leave that thing like it is, surely, Tom.
Oh, no. I'm going to convert it into a minibus. By the time I finish with it, it'll look like a sunshine coach. I've put in 1 row of seats already, but I haven't finished yet. So you've still got all that room at the back where you'd normally put the, whatnot.
Well, I'm not going to sit where you'd normally put the whatnot. And that's flipped.
You don't have to, Dame. We put the harp where you'd normally put the whatnot, and we all sit up front.
Well, we shall look like an undertaker's outing.
Don't be so ridiculous, Hilda. It's only a vehicle when all's said and done.
When all's said and done, it might be, Matney, but mercifully, all is not yet said and done as far as I'm concerned.
Hilda, we're supposed to be there at 10. Now, are you coming with us, or would you rather walk down on your own, humping your harp?
Oh, very well, but I certainly can't go in this flowered frock. Not in that vehicle, not in this. Supposing someone was to see us. I think I'd better just go upstairs and slip into something sombre.
Now, don't overdo it, Hilda. We don't want the bombazine and the black net veil, dear. Remember, when you get there, you've got to open a shop.
Well, I'm not going to dress like the widow of Windsor, dear. But I do think it's somewhat inappropriate to look too gay.
I say, dear. I say, do you think I look all right?
You look absolutely fine, Evadne. You always look as if you're going to a funeral anyway. And so, eventually, suitably attired and clutching the harp, we all set off. We arrived at the high street amid occasional raucous shouts from the curbside of, "They're dead, but they won't lie down." So I must admit I was extremely glad when finally we screeched to a halt outside the Emporium and Evadne and I were able to let go of the silver handles which we'd been holding on to so grimly, and we were able to scurry for the safety of the shop. Well, I've never had a journey like that.
Got a good turn of speed, ain't it? You don't often see a move like that.
No, you don't.
I should think you don't, dear. They'd never keep the flowers on the roof.
Now then, Dame, where do you want me to put this harp, then?
Over there, I think, Tom, dear, please, by the gramophone.
If you put it there, Hilda, it'll be in the way.
Oh, don't start that again.
I suggest you put it where it was before.
No, it didn't look right there, dear. Too pokey. It needs displaying.
How about here?
Oh, not there, dear. No.
Or here?
No, Tom, definitely not there.
Well, here, then.
No, Tom, in the way again.
Oh, do you mind if I put it down for a minute or two? I think I've snapped a muscle. I'll tell you what, ladies.
Yes?
I've got to pop off now.
I told you he was going somewhere, didn't I, dear?
Well, I promised to pick somebody up, you see.
Alive or dead?
Anyone we know, Tom, yeah?
No, it's just a bloke who's managed to lay hands on a bit of paint for the respray job. I'll pop back a bit later on and see if you've made up your minds, OK? Oh, here. Tell you what would make life easier with that harp of yours, Dame.
What's that, dear?
Bang it on wheels. Put a motor in it and a seat. Well, then you could drive it round like they do them little mowers. Music while you mow. Hey, I know someone who could do it for you. For a new grass box, a bird table, and half a dozen hamsters.
He must be very fond of hamsters.
Oh, he races them. But they're always running off. He don't half get through some hamsters. Well, I'll be away. See you later.
Yes, bye-bye, Tom, dear, and thank you.
Goodbye, Tom.
Well, I've never heard of anyone racing hamsters before.
They race tortoises, Hilda.
And do they ever win?
Well, they only race them against other tortoises, dear, so I suppose some of them must.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Can we help you?
Yes, how much do you want for the harp?
Oh, it's not for sale.
Can we show you anything else?
No, it's the harp I'm interested in.
How about a gramophone?
I've got a gramophone.
Well, you haven't got that one, have you?
I don't want it either. I wouldn't give it house room. I want that harp.
I know. A music box.
Oh, I hate them. Jingle, jangle, tinkle, tinkle. Same old tune over and over again. Bless this house, the anniversary waltz, or the bluebells of Scotland. You're never quite sure which.
Would you like a bust of Beethoven?
I use one for a doorstop.
Are you interested in sheet music at all?
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, well, we've got lots of that. All sorts. We'll play you one. Choose.
Oh, I'm easy.
Well, choose.
Well, anything you like.
Well, choose.
It's all part of the service, you see. Then you know what you're buying, don't
Oh, very well. Here we are. Then first off the pile, Marcushla.
Oh, nice. Right, oh, Evadne Carriard. Ready when you are, lover. Macushla, Macushla, your sweet voice is calling, calling me softly again and again. Macushla, Macushla, I hear it still pleading. My blue-eyed Macushla, I hear it in vain.
I know it, of course.
Well, then you'll buy it.
How much?
Well, you can have all of it.
I mean, how much do you want for it?
How much do we want for it, Evadne?
I've no idea, dear. What do you think?
Oh, I'll give you 10p.
Very well, then, 10p it is. You've got a real bargain there, you know, because it's autographed.
Right. Now then, how much do you want for the harp?
Now, wait a minute. You've bought the sheet music, haven't you?
But what sort of a place is this? If a man comes in to buy an harp, he's hardly likely to be satisfied going out with a 10p sheet of music he's got at home anyhow, now is he?
But the harp is not for sale, dear.
But look, I thought this was an emporium, and an emporium is a place where you sell things.
Well, we've just sold you something, haven't we?
But you haven't sold me what I come in to buy now, have you?
No, because what you came in to buy isn't for sale.
Look, I don't know how to get this into your head. You see, I mean, how shall I put it? I want that harp!
And I don't know how to get this into your head. You're not having that harp!
Now, let's be reasonable about this. It is an extremely difficult instrument to play, you know.
Oh, I see. It's difficult to play, is it?
Oh, it's terribly difficult. I mean, Dr. Hinge here, she is a doctor of music and an LRAM, and she can't play one, can you, dear?
No, I can't. No.
And I've had this one up at home for some time now, and I'll let you into a little secret as well. I've not mastered it yet, have I now?
No, dear, you haven't, have you?
Oh, I didn't realize they were so very, very hard.
Oh, yeah.
Have you thought of something a little easier? A treble recorder, perhaps. Harmonica. Now, Larry Adler did very well with one of those.
Oh, he did, yes.
So much more portable, too.
No, it's the harp I was really after. Look, would you mind very much if I just sat down and strummed it?
Of course not, by all means.
Do mind your nails, though.
Oh, I'll be very careful. Oh, may I use that chair?
Do, by all means. Well, I must say you got the hang of that very quickly.
Oh, it's just a little something I happened to pick up at the Royal College of Music. But it's still not for sale, is it?
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh, well, I'll pop in again. As I'm round this way fairly regularly. And I've set my heart on that harp. Oh, you'll come round to selling it, I know you will. I had the same trouble once with a man in Bishop Stortford. Didn't want to sell me a Swansea cockle plate. So I waited, I bided my time. Oh, and I got it in the end.
How?
Ah, that's my little secret, isn't it? But I warn you, I'm a very patient man, and I always get what I want in the end. Goodbye, for now.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Which way's he gone?
He hasn't yet, dear. He's standing outside, looking through the window.
Is he eyeing it
Yeah.
covetously?
Afraid so.
That does it. I'm taking it home again. I will learn to play it now, and we'll keep it in the conservatory. Now, it won't be in anybody's way out there, will it?
No, I suppose not.
There you are, you see. Miss Blenkinsop is tinkling. She wants me to take it home.
Hilda, Miss Blenkinsop was the one who only this morning you said wants you to bring it down here.
You may remember, Evadne, that was one of Miss Blenkinsop's failings in life.
What was, dear?
She could never make up her mind.
With Dr. Evadne Hinge and Dame Hilda Brackett. With friends and neighbors at Stackton Trestle, Daphne Hurd, David Griffin, Anthony Sharp in A Lot of Chill and a Little Imagination.
The social life of Stackton Trestle is, in the main, sedate and dignified. But there are certain occasions on which a degree of good-humoured wildness is customarily tolerated. There is, for example, the harvest supper, the traditional climax to which is the performing by members of the Young Farmers Club of the Stackton turnip dance. Although of comparatively recent origin, it is decidedly primitive in its abandon. And comes as nothing of a revelation to anyone who thinks there is not much fun to be got out of a turnip. Also in October comes the annual nutting. Now this is when the chairman of the parish council and some of the other dignitaries sneak under cover of darkness and in commando style up to the vicarage, strip all the hazelnuts from the vicar's trees. These, of course, they subsequently auction for charity at the autumn fair, the highest bidder gaining the much sought-after title, Holder of the Vicar's Nuts. But there are several other occasions that tend to wildness, and it was about one such that Major Dillenforth called one morning to see Evadne and myself.
It's about the fancy dress ball that I come, ladies.
Ah, you want us to buy our tickets, Major? Well, of course. Now, wherever did I put my purse?
It's under the cushion on your chair, dear, where you put it when the Major knocked.
And if you want yours, dear, it's on the window ledge behind the Mary Gregory jug.
Thank you.
No, it's not about the tickets that I come. No, I'm afraid there's a little problem this year.
There are little problems every year, Major, but you always manage to surmount them. We marvel sometimes at the simple ingenuity of your solutions, don't we, dear?
Yes, we do.
Like the year the French chalk for the dance floor didn't arrive, and you ran the cricket roller all over those empty milk bottles and sprinkled the floor with the ground glass.
Yes, very resourceful.
Don't remind me. The good lady wife was a bit cut up about that, you know.
Anyway, what is the little problem this year, Major?
Well, little is probably not the right word, Doctor. No, the right word is probably big. We have a big problem this year. Lorna won't have the ball at all.
Won't have it?
She's disbanded the committee, cancelled the order for tickets and posters, and told the tent people we shall not be requiring the marquee.
She has been a busy little bee, hasn't she?
But can she do that, Major?
I don't know about can, Hilda. She's done it.
Let's face it, Hilda, the ball is always held at her house, and she always bears the brunt of the organisation. So if she says it's off, and that's an end of it.
But the fancy dress ball was something we all look forward to, Evadne.
Yes, well, now it's something we can all look back on, isn't it?
But why, Major?
The straw that finally broke the camel's back, as it were, was the amount of damage done last year to Lorna's geraniums when that Apache war party crept up on those cowboys and caught them in the gazebo.
I don't remember that. I think I must have been dancing in the shrubbery at the time with that charming young man from the Chamber of Commerce, because he came as the Sundance Kid.
He came as Billy the Kid.
Oh, don't be so pedantic. It was a dance, Evadne, not an identification parade.
It was a wild night.
If one chooses a theme like the Wild West, one must expect a degree of wildness, Major.
Yes, possibly. But what about a couple of years back, when the theme was A Midsummer Night's Dream? I mean, on the lawns, amid the lanterns, you'd think it was impossible to be anything but utterly enchanting. And what happens? We end up with 3 tipsy Titanias and far too many bottoms.
Oh, yes, the entire rugby club, silly asses.
And what about all that horseplay in the ornamental pond, then?
Yes, God knows what they were up to. But, you know, we never saw the garden hose again. And the water lilies have been decidedly sickly ever since. Lorna really loved those lilies. So, you see, her decision is a culmination of a number of unfortunate little incidents.
Well, I feel most strongly that the fancy dress ball is one of the traditions of Stackton Trestle that must under no circumstances be permitted to die.
Now, that is precisely what Lorna said, you'd say.
Is it?
Careful, Hilda.
You see, Lorna has suggested that you might like to assume responsibility for organising the ball this year, and that it might even be possible to hold it here, at the old manse.
Oh, has she? Well, Evadne, what do you think, dear?
I'm sorry, Major. It's out of the question.
Well, there you are then, Major. Evadne won't have it.
Not here, I won't.
Well, then perhaps we could hold it somewhere else. I mean, it really should not be allowed to die.
Now, that was Lorna's other idea.
She's certainly full of ideas, Lorna, isn't she, Major?
She never stops.
Never.
And she did suggest that, failing the old manse, we might, well, you might, find an outside venue. As she put it, and I use her very words, if anyone in Stackton can do it, those two dear ladies can.
Did she say that? Well, now, wasn't that nice of her, Evadne?
Yes, wasn't it, Hilda? Ever so nice.
Well, then, can I report mission successfully completed?
I think we could lift him off the hook, couldn't we, Evadne?
Well, dear, if we can do the entire ring cycle in a single day at Crewe, I think we should be able to organise a fancy dress ball in Stackton Trestle.
Bless you, bless you. I shall be able to get a round of golf in, but only if I run. Bless you, bless you.
Goodbye, Major.
Bye-bye. I think we have just lifted a great weight from that man's mind, Hilda.
Well, I wasn't going to say so, Evadne, but it really is about time that fancy dress ball was done properly. I mean, I know the poor woman does her best, but she simply doesn't have what it takes when it comes to balls.
No, I am forced to admit, Hilda, I've been longing to get my hands on it for years. But you know as well as I do, the only way to succeed with Lorna Derrenforth is to let her think she's coerced you.
Oh, Evadne, aren't we the wicked ones? Oh, that sounds like Maud. Oh, see, she's got Tom with her.
Then they'll be arguing, no doubt.
Shh, listen. No, not a sound.
That means they're not talking.
Good morning, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Morning, all.
Morning, Maud, dear. Tom.
Good morning.
I'm not talking to him.
And I'm not talking to her.
Well, as long as you're both happy.
Sounds as though it's going to be a nice, quiet morning anyway, Hilda.
I never thought when I first held him in me arms that 30 years later he'd turn on me in a public place and shame me in front of a complete stranger in a Panama hat and two-tone shoes.
No, come off it, Ma. All I said was, watch where you're walking.
Watch where you're walking, indeed. We don't sound much to it, but you should have heard how he said it, Dame Hilda. Full of nasty undertones. Wicked insinuation.
Look, there's this totally deserted street, see? There's me and Ma walking up it, about 50 yards up on the same side as us. There's this man up a stepladder, trimming his edge with an electric edge trimmer. Now, does that sound like a dangerous situation, or does it not?
Well, knowing certain of the people involved, Tom, dear, most certainly does.
Oh, Ma, you've got a reputation.
Now, fair's fair, Tom. How was I supposed to know that were going to happen?
That's why I shouted, watch where you're walking.
And if you hadn't shouted, I'd not have turned. So I'd not have tripped over these wire and I'd not have pushed over these steps.
You know, it really does sound nasty.
Was the man all right, Tom, dear?
Oh, I can see his face now, Doctor. His ladder leaning at a very nasty angle, with his little two-tone feet on top, in a desperate toe grip, his body arched over the footpath, his Panama hat all awry, and his arms round the neck of his peacock.
His what, dear?
We had one of them fancy edges, Dame, all cut in the shape of birds and things, and two beautiful great peacocks, one on either side of his gate.
He was obviously a topiarist.
I thought he were drunk. A sober man would have just fallen off them steps and not made such a fuss nor a fool of himself.
Oh, well, no real harm done, eh?
There wouldn't have been, Dame, if only Ma hadn't picked up that electric edge trimmer off the pavement.
She didn't.
She did.
She would.
Well, I didn't want no one tripping over it, did I? But I'd no idea how sharp them things is. Nor how lively, neither.
Then why'd you have to start waving it about?
I weren't waving it, it were waving itself. That thing has a mind of its own. Sliced like butter it did right through the gatepost. and right through his peacocks. And right through his steps about halfway up. And down they all comes tumbling in an heap.
Sounds like some latter-day Lizzie Borden.
Yes, with a penchant for peacocks.
And the telegraph pole.
Oh, no.
Stupid place to put a telegraph pole. Right outside somebody's house. Mind, there weren't that many tiles broke. And that attic window looked rotten anyhow. There's no need to make a fuss. And do you know what that man did, Dame Hilda?
No.
He picked up his chimney pot.
His chimney pot.
One of the four that had come down after. Well, he's in the house next door. And he raised it above his head, and I'm sure he'd have thrown that chimney pot at me if he hadn't tripped over his gutter. What was lying about on his lawn.
That's when we left.
Well, very sensible, Tom. It was obviously turning nasty.
No, I'm going to make us all a nice cup of tea and see if I can get my poor old hands to stop trembling.
I'll give you a hand, if you like, Ma.
You best stay right away from the kitchen, my lad. You've done quite enough damage for one day. Watch where you're walking, indeed. That's what started it all.
You know, if she wasn't my mother, I'd wonder why I ever had anything to do with her.
Oh, she means well, Tom, and she'd do anything for anybody.
Yes, especially damage.
Well, I'll be away then.
Oh, Tom, dear, while you're here, now you may be able to help. You see, we are going to organise the fancy dress ball this year, and we have to find somewhere to hold it. Any ideas?
Ain't they having it up at the big house this year, then?
No, dear, it was getting a bit too much for them. Well, the Dillonforths aren't as young as they were, alas.
So you're looking for somewhere a bit unusual, eh? The castle moat,
Yeah.
the abbey ruins,
Yeah.
that sort of thing?
Well, that's the sort of thing exactly, isn't it, Yvette?
Yes, dear, exactly. Or if wet in Westminster Cathedral.
Well, if I can borrow your blower for a bit, I'll see what I can do. Leave it to me, okay?
Thanks very much, Tom, dear. That's very sweet of you.
No trouble.
Of course, the other thing we need, Hilda, is a theme. Something that's not been done before.
I know what you mean, dear. The sort of thing that would never occur to Lorna Dillonforth. Cowboys and Indians, I ask you.
Tell you what, Hilda.
Yes?
I'll rummage through the music. It might give us an idea.
Oh, yes, dear. And we can find an appropriate song at the same time, because they're bound to ask us to sing, dear. They always do.
Ah, and now we're organising it, Hilda. We don't have to wait to be asked. We can sing whether they like it or not. Now wait a moment. How about the gendarme's duet? Now that's quite good. The theme could be law and order.
I really don't think, though, that I could face an entire evening in serge and lace-up boots.
No.
No, I should like to represent something symbolic, dear.
You mean like a needle in a haystack?
If you're going to be dim, dear, you could go as a Toc H lamp. I mean, you've got the perfect figure for it. No, I want something like Justice in a long sequin dress with a train.
I don't think Justice wears sequins, dear.
Well, I am going to a ball event, and not to sit on the Old Bailey roof.
Tom, dear. Any luck?
Yes, Doctor. I think I got you fixed up.
Where's it to be, then? The castle moat or the abbey ruins?
The Co-op Hall.
The Co-op Hall?
Well, I tried quite a few places.
Yes.
But quite frankly, as soon as they found out what it was for...
Yes.
They didn't want to know.
We've played worse places, Hilda.
You may have done it, Yvette. I have not.
And here's your chance. When can we see it, Tom?
I'll run you down there now. If you don't mind sharing the back of a van with a sack of cement and me chimney-sweeping gear.
Let's go. Oh, come along, Hilda. Do cheer up. I'm sure we shall be able to work wonders with a lot of tulle and a little imagination.
I dare say the caretaker will have a few ideas of his own about what you can do. Mind you, he's not an easy man.
Tulle?
You're not having Tulle. It's absolutely out the question.
What do you mean?
Well, fire regulations.
Yeah, but surely.
There's no such thing as surely when it comes to fire regulations.
So what do you normally do for decorations when you have a do here?
We use our own stuff, don't we? It's specifically treated with inflammable substances, so it's not a risk to life and limb like the stuff you want to bring in. Well, if you're planning a holocaust, it's over my dead body.
Very well, then. What do your own things consist of?
Well, there's 2 strings of red, white and blue pennants. It goes from that nail there over to that screw there, and from that screw over to that one. 30 flags, 25 feet.
I bet that's a sight worth seeing.
Very spectacular. Anything else?
Of course. There's a white ensign.
Just the one.
Certainly not. A whole string of them.
Don't tell me. 30 flags, 25 feet.
Precisely.
You lashed out on the flags, didn't you?
Oh, there's a painted backdrop for the stage.
Oh, there's a painted backdrop for the stage, Evadne.
I wouldn't get too excited if I were you, dear. It's probably of flags.
It's a wood.
A wood? Oh, how original.
2 oaks either side, 4 bushes of uncertain nature. A rabbit left front, a squirrel top right, 20 feet by 15. That's not the squirrel, that's the... They use it in the pantomime, you see.
Well, they would, yeah.
Which pantomime?
Well, every pantomime. Oh, yeah, and there's a banner for across the room. Hail the conquering hero, Co.
Co, dear, how do you spell it?
C-O. It should have been Comes, but the banner were too long, so we had to trim it up a bit.
You see, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Do we really have to have those fire buckets and hoses on the wall?
You got your heart set on a holocaust, haven't you?
Well, it looks just like one of those brick air raid shelters.
Perhaps our theme should be a night in the Second World War, Hilda.
No, it must be symbolism, Evadne. The spirit of Britain at war.
I was joking, Hilda. I don't really think we ought to suggest war, dear. Not with the Rugger Club coming.
You've really got your knife into those poor boys, haven't you? Anyway, I've got a better idea. Patriotism. I bet they're patriotic. They're built like patriots. And I can come as the spirit of England.
What about the rest of us, Hilda?
You can come as anything you like. Use your imagination. But the theme shall be patriotism. And we shall choose a marvellous patriotic song. Then everyone can learn it and they can all join in. And the rafters will ring with England's name.
Well, that's settled then. Red, white and blue pennants, white ensigns, Union flag. I might even wear my medals.
And so it was that Stackton was soon consumed by the fun of dressing up. Evadne, well, she decided to go as bold as Sarah. And I must say that when I agreed with this suggestion, I had no idea how ferocious she would look, glowering over her pince nez with a 4-foot shield in one hand and a boar hunter spear in the other. But I do know that if the Romans had run into her, we'd have got shot of them a good deal sooner than we'd I stuck to my original idea of going as the spirit of England, and I slipped into a loose, shimmering ball gown made entirely of red, white, and blue. I carried in my left hand a scroll inscribed Magna Carta, and concealed my beaded evening bag in a cardboard mock-up of the Doomsday Book. Well, the day finally arrived, and punctually at 8 o'clock, anybody who was anybody, as well as a good few who weren't anybody, jammed the Co-op hall. Well, I must say, Evadne, everybody's really gone to town, haven't they? This dreary old hole looks just like the field of the cloth of gold, only English. Oh, there's more. Now, dear, let's go across. Who on earth is she supposed to be? She's all dressed up in black with a feather boa, button boots, and a birdcage in her hand.
God knows, but she looks like a Victorian taxidermist.
Not so loud there, she's coming over.
Good evening, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Good evening, Maud.
Hello, Maud.
I do hope you won't mind me asking you this, dear. Just idle curiosity. Who exactly are you supposed to be?
I'm Mrs. Potterton.
And who on earth was Mrs. Potterton?
Well, she was my mother's next-door neighbour during the First War. There was no one more patriotic than Mrs. Potterton. She wouldn't even let her family have German measles. Not while the war were on. Absolutely forbid it, she did.
There, Ma. Don't you want your stuffed canary? You dropped it in the car.
Oh, Tom, I never. Oh, pop it in me cage. That canary was Mrs. Potterton's pride and joy.
I say, Tom, dear, the theme is supposed to be patriotism. Why have you come as Guy Fawkes?
Well, he was English, wasn't he?
Yes, but he tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament, didn't he, dear?
Well, I think that was very patriotic of him.
Tom, there you are. May I have a quiet word with you?
You look a bit worried, Major. Is everything all right downstairs at the door?
Well, as a matter of fact, Evadne, the Rugger Club has just arrived.
Oh, no. What are they dressed as this time?
Oh, no, they look absolutely splendid.
Yeah.
They've come as the Queen's beasts. You know. The heraldic animals, the lion, the unicorn, the stag, the bear, the bull, the boar, and so on.
So virile.
Their intention apparently being at some suitable moment during the evening to provide an heraldic tableau.
What an absolutely lovely idea. How very imaginative. Oh, I do hope, Evadne, that you will now take back everything you said about that silly business with their bottoms.
But I haven't quite finished yet. You see, the unicorn was just passing through the door
Yes.
when a group of yobbos lounging on the wall across the road passed one or two loud and ribald remarks about the length and position of the horn.
Not a fight, Major.
No, Maud, a battle royal. Punks versus Queen's beasts.
Hang about. I'll rustle up a few of the lads.
Good idea, but discretion, Tom. We don't want to cause alarm in the hall.
Don't worry, Major. Now, you and Tom cope with the war beneath us. Evadne and I will prevent panic on the home front.
Come on, Tom.
Okay, Major.
Evadne, dear, to the piano. We'll do the patriotic song now and then get everybody singing.
Very well.
All right. Give us a chord there, a loud one. And now to get the ball rolling, as it were, and before we hand the stage over to Freddie Waters and his banjoleros, here is the song we asked you all to learn, the song that reminds us that tonight the toast is England. England, more England, the land that gave us birth. Oh, my sons and daughters, the fairest land on earth. Oh, England, happy England, the land that we adore. God give thee greater glory, and God thee evermore. Good heavens, Evadne, it's getting worse. Now come along, everybody. Here's your chance to demonstrate just how well you learn the chorus. And this time, let's really raise the roof. Come along, dear piano, everyone.